Hello gamers, this is Rushcode, and in today on UE4 I wanted to show you how I made a scorekeeping system for this game and also how I show the score on the actual screen. So for example, up here there should be a timer and an icon for the chairs, as well as when you finish the game it should show it on this screen what the actual score is. So there's a few stages to this. I'm not sure how much I'll get through in this video because I can only upload 15 minutes at a time. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is create a widget that can showcase the timer and the score at the top here. So over in the contents menu, we're going to create another widget blueprint. We're going to call this score HUD. Let's bring in a border and we're going to put some text in it. And on this border, we're going to make it we'll keep it white. No. Should we keep it white? We'll make it black, make sure it fits the text, which is going to be just a time of some sort, right? So 00, 00, something like that. Fix that to the top of the screen at the very center. And we also need a text in this corner up here. This text will display how many chairs you have left. So compile and play. Let's make sure this is showing. Oh, it's not showing up because we haven't added this to the viewport. So I'm going to have to go to the level blueprint. And upon beginning play, we need to show this in the level itself. So we'll create a widget based on the score HUD and add this to the viewport. Now let's see if it shows up. There we go. So now you can see the timer at the top and the score in the right top corner. And I think it's not exactly in the corner like this one's displaying it because this size is not 1920. There we go. Okay, so now if we play it, it should show it in the... Oh, it still doesn't show it there. Well, not too sure why the chair score is not showing in the rightmost corner, but I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Main thing we need to do is be able to update the score and this timer based on what the score is. I'll probably do the timer on a separate video, but for this video I'll just focus on creating the score for the chairs. In order to do that, we need the amount of chairs that haven't been placed in the game yet. Oh, and I should probably just put a little chair icon here as well. Okay, so I imported a chair icon. Reshape it a little bit. That should be good. So if we compile and play, it should show up. There we go. So we have a chair next to our number of chairs. We need to get the number of chairs in here somehow. So first we need to go back to our custom control because this is where we place the chairs. And every time a chair is placed, we want to increase the amount of chairs that have been placed. But we need a variable to track this. So let's create a variable. We'll call this number of chairs. Make sure it's an integer. Now we'll bring this in and we're going to set the number of chairs based on an incremental value. Well, we also want to get the number of chairs first so that we can increment it. So increment integer by 1 and then that will feed into this later. First thing we want to do is make sure that as soon as we finish spawning a chair, when that's completed, it goes in to increment the number of chairs and then sets the number based on that. Once that is done, we wanted to display that number just to test it first. So print string and let that convert into a string, compile, play. Now let's go in and spawn a chair and it shows a 1 in the top left corner. We go in here, put another chair, put another chair, put another chair, put another chair. That increments it to 5. Now of course it can keep going up because I've not put in any code to stop myself from putting more than one chair in this spot, which is something that needs to be fixed eventually. But for now, we're just going to work with this. So let's remove this code and this is updating quite nicely. So we just need to get this information into the score HUD somehow. Let's go ahead and create a binding for this chair text here, the score text. So here's the text and here's a binding. This allows us to create a bit of code for it. Get the variable from the chair scores in the custom control. So cast to custom control. And as custom control, we want to get the number of chairs. Okay, so get number of chairs and just return that value. There's probably a few ways to use ToText, but for now we just need it to be like this. You could set it up as well here for minimum digits to be 2 digits. That way it always shows a 0 in front of it, but you don't really have to do any of that. So you could just go return straight to that. And when you hit compile and play, this is what we have. You go up to this table and watch the chair score change. And oh, there's no chair. That's a bit strange. Okay, here's the chair. So there's a bit of debugging I might need to do for that, just because it was within range, but too close to it. So if you hit play and you go in here, here's a table, stand on it, hit E, and we have a chair with the chair score updated. Go in here, hit E again, and you have another chair, and another chair, and another chair, and another chair. So the score updates accordingly. I think there's a bit of a problem with it creating chairs Oh, I see. So even if I press E without a chair, it'll go up. Right. Okay, so that needs to change. Let's see. Right, okay, so we shouldn't be doing this when it completes. We should only increase the chair score if we spawned a chair. So what I'll do is remove that line, connect it here, remove this line. And then from there, we want to go all the way back and break. So now when we compile and hit, if I press E, nothing happens. It's only when I go up to a table, it updates the score. And you can still increase the score just by standing here because it's creating multiple chairs in the same space. So that's something that just needs to be fixed. In order to trigger the quit game event, the number of chairs needs to at least match the number of tables we have. So under our custom control, you'll want to create a variable that tracks the number, or at least figures out the number of tables we have. So number of tables, and that default value cannot be 0. It needs to be based on however many tables have been generated. So we're going to go into event begin play. From here, we're going to get all actors of class, that class being a table. And then from here, we just want to get the total, I don't know if that's a thing, total number? No, that's, I'm not sure what you would call it. Length? Yeah, probably length. Let's see what this says about length. Get the number of items in an array. Yes, so this is what we want. And that can then be updated onto the number of tables. So set number of tables based on the number of tables in the actual game. Now all we need to do is make sure that when this maximum number has been hit based on the number of chairs here, it should trigger the end game event, which we can do every time after a loop has been completed. So we can go here and do some sort of thing like a branch, which is like an if control statement. In this branch, we want to check if the number of chairs has matched or gone above the number of tables. So we'll say get number of chairs. We want this to be greater than or equal to the number of tables. And if that is true, then we want to initiate the quit game event. So the quit game event is actually down here, which is trigger quit. Let's see if that's something I can pull from here. So trigger quit? No, okay, that's a problem. What we could do is create a custom event here called quit game, and that takes on board all of this stuff here. So let me just put that over here instead, pull that in there. And then on this line here, we will do the quit game event function. So we'll call it to that. Oh, that's the wrong one. I want it to call to the other one. So quit game function, there we go. So that will go straight into this guy and do all the stuff here. Now if I copy that event over to this place here, when it's true, it does that. If it's false, it doesn't do anything. Let's check and see if this works. So play, go in, put a chair here, go in here, put another chair here, put a chair here, put one more here. And now this is the 5th table, so once our score updates to 5, it should quit. And there we go. Now it still says 5 chairs, that's only because that's a fixed bit of text. That needs to change, but this works now. The only issue with this is if I stand up to this table here and just press this 5 times, there we go, that still quits the game. Which again comes back to the fact that we don't want to keep creating new chairs in the same space here. But at least we have the functionality, so the other bit is just a bit of fine-tuning. So there's the functionality there for quitting the game. Now we just need to update the, let's see, where was it? This score over here. To update the score, we need to do something similar like we did with the chair score. So on the text, we create a binding. And from the back here, I'm going to just get ToText from an integer. Actually, no. It might be better to get format text, I think. Yeah. So this will allow me to create a special text format. So for example, score, I can put in a special variable here, which I'll just call C, and then put chairs. Now if I hit enter, it creates a variable for this C here, which is a number. That number is going to be based on the chair score. So from here, we're going to cast to the custom control, which by the way, you don't have to put your chair score variable inside the custom control, or even the tables for that matter. You could put it into the first person game mode, right? Which is over here. You could totally put it in there if you want, but it's really just a matter of preference, I think, at this point, because the game is quite simple. Where you put it really comes down to which one's going to be more convenient to cast and pull from. So I prefer to put it on the custom controller. Once that is set up, we want to get the number of chairs here and then put that in here, and that should do it for us. So compile, play. If I quit right now, it'll show 0 chairs. See, so now it updates according to what it should be. And if I go in here, put 1 chair, our score is 1. If I quit, it shows 1. Great. So we go in, put this chair, going over here, put this chair, put this one, and it quits, and it shows 5. Fantastic. And that's all there is to this video. So, in the next video, I'm going to be looking at how I set up this timer over here. And there's a few videos I've seen on this, just a few variations to this, so I'll just pick one and show you guys what that is. So that's something to look forward to. And then the game is basically complete. And mind you, I will upload the proper one, not this tutorial sort of version. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then smash like. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Rushcode out.